Hi guys. It is Tuesday and this is day 19 of How Will You Bring More Life to Your 2022. And the thing that is just striking me as so funny right now is I always try and land here with a smile on my face or laughing because that's always my intention for my day. Full of life, full of joy. And I have to tell you that that isn't always what happens all the time. And so today I'm having one of those days where I really, really have to work it. So I thought to myself, as I often do, as you often hear me say, I wonder what would happen if I brought this to my Facebook Live. So I'm sitting in my meditation spot in my room. It's one of my favorite pictures behind me. I love the color of these walls. And this is a really peaceful, you talk about safe space, just a really peaceful space for me to be in. I'm wearing my favorite sweater of all time. It just makes me happy. And my earrings have turquoise on them, which is really a healing stone. So I'm doing all the outer things to just bring joy and life to my circumstances. So you probably have been in a similar situation because, once again, this is the human condition. So have you ever had something that you worked on really, really hard and had such great expectations for kind of either fall flat on its face or not live up to the hopes that you had for it? We've all had that. I mean, it happens all the time. It's just life. And it is a full moon, 5 days before and 5 days after. And those of us who are born under the sign of Cancer, which I am, full disclosure, we're more emotional than most. And if you are a Cancerian like I am, you know what I'm talking about. And if you love someone who's a Cancerian, you know what I'm talking about. Hi, thanks for coming. And so there's a lot of emotion and hi, Christina, that's so cool. So there's a lot of emotion surrounding, this time of the month. And I use that term loosely because, no matter what age you are, you have your own variety of experiences, especially under a full moon if you're a Cancerian. So all that to say, if you've been watching these, this is day 18. So, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you see them every day, you see them in a variety of ways. If you don't know somebody very well and you only see them in a small circumstance, you don't have a wide bandwidth. They just look the same all the time. But we're not all the same all the time, right? And yeah, I'm having one of those days. So I had a project that I worked on that I was really excited about, spent a lot of time and energy on, and it's just not going how I thought it was going to go. And so I had to sit in that. I had to sit in that feeling. And an emotion lasts 90 seconds and you have to allow yourself to feel it. This lasted a little bit more than 90 seconds, but I'm just saying, just feel it, just feel it, just feel it. It's totally okay, totally normal. And I remember something from my keynote days, and that is you can use any situation in a keynote to inspire people. You just can't use it when you're in it. So it took me a little while to get to this. It's after lunch. It's not first thing in the morning because I was busy with this first thing this morning. And there's a couple of things that I did to kind of shift myself because, simple shifts. And if you feel like crap, it's an unconscious trap. And it's just inviting you to make a shift. So one of the things that was true about me today was I was inspired by those three world leaders who have inspired me all my life and who we talked about yesterday, and that is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and Dr. Viktor Frankl. Hi, Monica. Hello, my darling. So those folks have inspired me all my life, and today they inspired me for a particular reason because we were talking about them yesterday, and that is they were in dire circumstances, and they found ways to move through them. So I'm not in a dire circumstance. I'm in a disappointing circumstance. I'm in something that I had expectations for that isn't happening in this moment. But my first simple shift was to go, okay, well, what would they do in a situation like this? And they'd probably just go, girl, it's nothing. You can get through this. This is not the end of your life. It's like, okay, so that was a nice shift. And the second thing I realized is that somebody told me this a long time ago, and she said, God's delay is not God's denial. And that's kind of alliterative and, delay and denial and all that. And it's been in the back of my head for probably 45 years. And it really showed up well for me today. And I thought the corresponding thing that goes with that is the non-religious thing that goes with that is no wine before it's time. I was like, oh, okay. And the other thing that goes right along with that is somebody said to me years ago, if you decide that you're going to run a mile, you can't stop at 500, halfway through and go, okay, I'm done. Because you're not going to get the results that you're going to get if you just run the whole mile. And what it looks like at the half mile is not what it looks like at the end of the mile. Okay. So those are 3 things that actually help me to shift and actually help me to go, okay, I can get through this. So the next thing that I use, and I used this morning, is, okay, so if you can shift and you don't have to sit in this emotion, if you can shift and have anything you want, what do you want right now? I love that question. What would you rather have? What do you want right now, as opposed to what you're sitting in or stewing in or whatever it is that you're in? So what I want right now is to be able to use this to share with other people. Because I'm not the only one it happens to. We all fall down. We all get disappointed. And how long we stay there is up to us. So that brought me to, we always have a choice. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning, and she was telling me about some thing that she was reading about predestination, and she didn't agree with it, and it was aggravating her to have to read it, but she was reading it for a course. And she said, the thing about predestination is that whatever's happening to you in this moment is decreed, like from God. And that's what it is. That's all it is. So I thought, wow, okay. This morning when I was having my moment, I'm not predestined to sit in this. I always have a choice. And the question, what would you rather have? What do you want right now? Allows me to exercise that choice. So my choice was, I want to make this interesting and fun for people who aren't me. I want to make this like just normal. Like, how can I normify? Is that a word? I just made that word up. Normalize. Normify is more fun though. How can I normify this situation that we all get in, which is, oh my God, again with this? So, yeah. Number 1 is think about what your heroes would do. They would just bat it away like a fly. Okay. The second thing is ask yourself, well, what would you rather have? Because you don't have to stay here. And the third thing is something that I learned in my coaching school, which I really, really appreciated. When I learned this that I'm about to tell you, it changed my whole life. Now, they tell you at the end of your whole life, rolls in front of you so that you can watch it like a movie. Well, there are circumstances in my life where that has been true for me, and I'm not dead yet. So when I learned this, my whole life just flashed in front of me, and I just went, oh my God. So this is about energy levels. And short story, because I teach a class on this, and I'm certified in this, so I'm not going to give you that story. I'm just going to give you the down and dirty, right here, right now story. If you imagine that there are 7 levels of energy that everyone has access to, because you have a choice. And if you imagine that most people stay in the lower 2, that kind of makes a sort of sense. The lower 2 are fight or flight, The bottom 1 is me again, this crap again, which, yes, I was there this morning. I worked so hard. I tried so hard, and it didn't work. Oh, poor me. We get there. I get there, and I teach this stuff. The second level is the fight part. And that is, okay, whose butt do I need to kick about this? It's like, oh, for God, crying out loud, where is there a problem? Where did I fall down? Where did somebody fall down? Where did the system fall down? And we can stay in one of those 2 levels a lot. There's a lot of people in the world right now who are in either one of those 2 levels. Poor me, and whose butt do I need to kick? Those 2 levels of energy are constricting. So they do not bring more life to your 2022. They pretty much squeeze the life out of you because you're stuck. And certainly that's the feeling like crap. I can trust you. You can trust me that that's an unconscious trap. So that's where I was. I didn't want to be stuck, and there is no such thing as predestination. I always have a choice. Well, so now where do I go? Awesome question. Next 5 levels, each one of them has, as I teach it, as I use it in my life, a question you can ask. So level number 3, and this is a question that I learned to ask in my work as a drug and alcohol counselor, because this is the recovery question. Question number 3 is, what's my part in this? All of a sudden, you just added some life, because now it's kind of like we talked about the 3 buckets. This is bucket 3. Bucket 1 is shit happens and there's nothing you can do about it. Bucket number 2 is some shit happened and maybe you could influence someone to help you, but if you don't have a relationship with them, there's nothing you could do. And it goes back to bucket number 1. Bucket number 3 is stuff I can do something about because it's all about me. So this level number 3, question number 3, connects directly to bucket number 3. In fact, everything, all the other levels connect to bucket 3. So what's my part in this? Okay, well, it might be that I'm new. It might be that I haven't learned everything I need to learn. And it might be that I'm just like at the half-mile mark, not the mile mark. Okay, well, that's okay. So the next question that moves into a higher order of energy, which is, it's not about me anymore. It's about what I want this project to do in the world. And the question is, how can I be of service right now? Oh, I know. I can get on a Facebook Live and use this. So awesome. So awesome. That's why I was laughing when I got on. I completely shifted my state. And so the next question to raise your energy level even higher is, what's my opportunity here? So instead of, oh, poor me, and, who's to blame, it's like, this isn't working the way I expected. What's my opportunity to do something different? Or what's my opportunity to learn? It's like, wow, very, very cool. Now, those are the 3 levels I often switch to. And there's one level that's kind of like my secret escape hatch to whatever kind of nonsense I'm trapped in. If I'm feeling like crap, it's an unconscious trap. This is a higher order question that absolutely pops you right out of the nonsense and the stress. And I offer it as a choice because it's a paradox. The question is, whenever shit's happening in your world, what if this is perfect? Now, the next thing anybody would say is, this isn't perfect. This is so not perfect. And I can tell you all the reasons that it's not perfect. Yeah, then you're back at the lowest level, which is, oh, poor me. Okay, I don't want to stay there. And it could also take you to, okay, I'm going to kick some butt at this because this is not perfect. Okay. But when you ask yourself the question, in the space of imperfection, what if this is perfect? Here's what happens. You access the energy levels of Dr. King, Viktor Frankl, and Nelson Mandela. That's where they lived. Now, you can't stay here. We're just human. But imagine the difficulties, jailed 29 times, stabbed in the chest. Like, oh my gosh, what if this is perfect? He used it for perfection, Dr. King. And Viktor Frankl in a concentration camp. What if this is perfect? He wrote the best-selling book of all time, Man's Search for Meaning, and just created amazing inspiration for people all over the world for generations. And Nelson Mandela is still inspiring us in a cage, a 27-foot cage, treated as less than human. And in his head, I can just see him saying, what if this is perfect? What if this circumstance I'm going through that's so difficult is perfect for my mission in life? So I love that question, and I love the paradox that clearly it's not perfect, but what if you said it was? Because you bring about what you think about. So this morning, what I got to was, what if this is perfect? What if this is the perfect thing I need to talk about on my Facebook Live? And what if this situation will have other people going, oh my God, Maya, the same thing happens to me. Thanks for the strategies. So, the final strategy I invite you to consider is why I'm in this seat right now. See, my auditory is like tired, but that's okay. It's what happens to me. This my version of reality is when I'm tired and I've been using a lot of energy. Sometimes my and also ADHD, thank you. 85 things hit my face and the words don't come out my mouth, and now I'm doing it in public. It's part of my superpowers. It's the secret to my success. And it's the truth about me in this moment. So what this corner of my room is for me to come in, sit down, and breathe. So the biggest strategy that you don't need anything else for, just your lungs, and everybody has some lungs. If you're breathing, you've got lungs, is to just stop and breathe. Because what that does is it gets you safe. This is my safe space. When I'm here, I'm safe, my own home. It helps you to get to here, which is no matter what's happening, you can claim it as good. And that allows me to get to here, which is, what do I want to do about it? What would I rather have? So, that's my story for today. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you watching. I trust with all my heart that even though there's days that I feel like I'm rolling a boulder up a hill, and then for it to just roll back down, and me to roll it back up, and it rolls back down, and oh, let's just do this over and over. Sometimes I get so tired. And then I realize that my strategies help me get safe, count it as good, and it helps me to get here, because here is what I know and believe. I am on a mission. Remember the old Blues Brothers? I'm on a mission from God. We all are. We all are on a mission from God, in whatever way you understand him or her. I have a mission, and my mission is to use my life as an example for other people to go, oh, okay, well, I guess that's all right. Because we don't have that. And also my mission is to invite you to go back to you, where it's your opinion that's the most important. Nobody else's opinion is as important about you as yours is about you. So in this place, I'm clear that I am a beloved child of God. I am guided and protected. I am safe and well. And whatever I go through, it kind of chokes me up sometimes. Whatever I go through is simply on purpose for what my mission is here. And if I think of all the things I've been through in my life, and oh my God, I'm going to say this right now. On June 24th this year, I will be 70 years old. I don't believe it, but it's true. So I've been around the block a couple times, and I know some stuff. And it's at this point in my life that I realize maybe I've got 30 years left. I have something to say. I have something to share. And I know that if I use all those experiences for your support and your inspiration, that inspires me. And that brings more light and more life to my 2022. So, the day after a full moon, mushy, emotional, so loving you and appreciating you so much for being here. And so content in the fact that this is not perfect. It's supposed to be difficult in places. It's supposed to invite you to use all your skills. Because if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. And the challenges are not difficult when you realize that they're just all part of the party. So thank you for watching today. I think that my top 3 things are: 1, when you get in a place where you just fall down and feel so crappy, understand it's an unconscious trap and it's your invitation to shift. An easy way to shift is think about your heroes. What would your heroes do in your situation? And that'll lighten your load. The second thing, I forget the second thing. And the third thing is to think about your energy levels. And the final thing, we'll all remember the second thing when I watch this again. And I'll go, oh, that was the second thing. Once again, not perfect. And the third thing is just breathe. Just remember that breathing will always bring more life to any situation you face. So I wish you an amazingly awesome illuminating day. And I'm Maya Beatty. I'll see you next time.